Welcome back to the Just Because podcast, a podcast about all things cosplay and life. We're your hosts. My name's Jeremy. This is Daniela. Daniela, say
Hello.
hi.
Hello.
We're back. We're back, everybody.
We're so
in this
back.
episode, Danny, what are we doing for episode 55? What are we doing today?
We're doing cosplay green flags versus red flags. And Mozart says hi.
Mozart says hi. He's Borford in the back.
As usual, he wants to be part of it all the time. So we're going to be discussing some of the green flags and some of the red flags within the community. And we're going to be rating them. Yeah.
Mozart.
I'm so sorry about Mozart.
It's okay. He's part of it now. Before we get started, I'd like to, first of all, just express our warm thanks to everyone who has been tuning in to both our Instagram and our YouTube, and even on the podcast itself since we've relaunched. It's been really, really heartwarming to see the support for you guys wanting to just listen to us ramble about things. So thanks very much for joining in.
It's so nice. Thanks, guys.
And just a quick reminder that we have launched our Patreon. So if you guys feel like, wow, I really like their vibe and I really want to support these guys to see what else we can do with our podcast, we're doing our own bit, obviously trying to grow and reach out to cons and reach out to cosplayers and try to provide as much value and fun as we can on this podcast. But if you guys wanted to support us in any way, shape, or form, feel free to consider joining our Patreon, which is in the link in the bio below. It's just the cost of a coffee each month. So feel free to jump in the community, say hi, and we might even raise some topic ideas that people have already put forward to us. That's pretty exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
So, let's jump into it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about green flags and red flags that we've seen throughout our time. We've decided, since I'm more of a red flag than Danny, I'll do the red flags.
Jeremy decided that I should
okay.
confirm.
See, that's a red flag quality, okay? And Danny's going to do the green. So, let's get it kicked off, Danny. What is, to you, a big green flag in a cosplayer that you've seen?
So first up, I wanted to say helping others without gatekeeping. So recently we've started sharing people that we think are really positive in the community, and that is very much including people who are open to showing how they did things, how they make things, where they resource things, if they bought their costume, where they bought it from, and whether it's good or not. And unfortunately, there's a lot of gatekeeping in the community because I don't know why. I was going to say because and then insert the reason, but I don't know why.
I mean, have you seen yourself personally any examples of where this has been the case with gatekeeping? Because I know you're very good with, hey guys, there's this opportunity happening, or hey, this is an event coming, you guys should apply for it. And I think that's really cool because it's just, hey, let's spread this opportunity around to whoever might be curious or interested about it.
Yeah.
But has there been any examples where you've found someone who's like, oh, you're not doing this because I'm not going to tell you because that's mine.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like it's usually the people who, it's hard to explain because obviously the way they do it is in a way that it's not so open that you can call them up on it. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? So some people all the time, they'll be like, oh, it's just easy. You just go and do it. Like I feel like they downplay like how easy or difficult something is. They'll be like, oh, I just found a pattern some random place online and you can find one too. Just go research it. Or
and I just did it.
I just did it. Yeah. It's just kind of like you can tell they don't want to talk about it and they're downplaying the work that went into it, which is weird because wouldn't you want people to know you worked really hard on something? I don't get it.
It comes down to an ego thing at the end of the day, really. It's like, this is mine, this is my technique. If I share it, everyone's going to be using it, and then that's going to be competition or they're going to improve. But I don't know, it's really weird. I told you that story already, right? About the time I asked a competitor how they made their armor.
Yes, you should tell our listeners quickly again.
If you haven't heard this story, it's crazy. The first time I went to, this is one of the first big competitions in Australia back in 2009, I think it was. So basically there was a competition. If you won in your state, like Queensland won, or you won in New South Wales, you won in Victoria, awesome, you made it to the finals. And the final round, like the winner of each state comes together in the final and they compete. And again, not naming any names, but I walked up to one of the competitors who had this awesome set of armor. Mind you, this is 2009, 2010, and this knowledge was not common whatsoever. So, people were kind of starting to come out with tutorials on the internet. And I quite simply asked, wow, your armor looks amazing. It's fantastic. What'd you make it out of? Like, how did you make it? And quite simply, they just said, oh, it's a secret. It's a secret. I could not believe it.
They weren't even trying to hide it. They literally said, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, so yeah, from that point onwards, I'm like, right, I used to think you were cool, but all I've discovered is you're not cool.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. It is a huge green flag if you ask someone, how did you do this? And like, man, I did this, I did this, I did this.
Yeah.
I'll show you the tutorial that I got for it. Like, I'll show you where I bought the materials. That's really cool.
So good. Even if people have asked me how I made some, or like my opinion on how I could make something. And a lot of the time, even if I don't know, I'll be like, well, I just researched and this tutorial seems pretty good, but I'm sorry, I don't actually, I've never done it myself, but this is pretty informative. Like, I try my best to help. And I feel like the people who are willing to help makes a big difference. And especially someone who's so passionately able to discuss how they make something, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. That's really cool. Just help other people. That's a good way to be about it.
Yes, basically. Big green flag.
Big green flag. I like that a lot.
Help others without gatekeeping. Let's go.
Okay. Big red flag. Here we go. So
here we go.
That's all the red flags. One I've got written down here is you talk down to the casual cosplayers or beginners.
Oh.
I never forgot it's thankfully I don't think it's happened too much because I always tried my best to fit in or be really good with my costumes, but I definitely got standoffish vibes. It still happens these days actually because I don't go to every convention in cosplay anymore. I know some you might be thinking, Jeremy, what the heck, you go to a convention you cosplay? Like, that's the rule. It's not fun unless you cosplay. But I have started doing it a little bit less because there's some days I just want to go and socialize and talk to people, and I don't really feel like putting on makeup, putting in the contacts, having a big prop, dragging that around. So I have experimented. Danny, I don't know if you've ever done this before. Have you ever gone to a convention in casual clothing before?
Yeah, I have.
How was
it was actually PAX last year.
Oh, right. How was the experience? Was it good? Was it bad?
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Because we were so tired. So we were like, no, I'm not TLDR. We had a bit of hell on our first day of PAX and stuff. Not first day of PAX, but the accommodation and stuff. So we were exhausted. We went to bed at 2 a.m. We're like, we're not cosplaying on Friday. It's just not happening. Like, there's 2 hours of sleep in the tank. It's not happening. So we're like, you know what? We have 2 days of 2 extra days of this con. Let's just be chill on Friday and explore the con and enjoy it. And people still recognized us.
That's really nice.
And they still came up and said hi. And there were some people who were like, oh, you're not in cosplay. Like, what happened? Like, we're just too tired.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like, where's the costume? But a lot of people were pretty very understanding, obviously.
That's cool.
They're not going to be like, whoosh. But it was really nice because you don't have to worry about bumping into anyone. You don't have to worry about your prop not fitting somewhere or being tired because it's so tiring wearing
It's funny you mention that because I've had both experiences in terms of I don't wear something. People who know me and we're friends, cool, like we'll say hi, we'll chat. People I'm somewhat close with, if we kind of know of each other, we'll say hi and we'll talk. But if I have a chat, this still happens to me. If I have a chat to somebody or try to talk to someone, they are in costume, we start talking a little bit, it's about a 50-50. Some people will be like, oh, cool, person come and have a chat, let's have a talk. And some people, I feel, it's just a vibe of, oh, who is this guy? He's not a cosplayer, what a noob. Like, he doesn't deserve to talk to me. I'm just going to not talk. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like there's a common stigma that if someone not in cosplay comes up to you, they're a creep or a weirdo because it is unfortunate, but a lot of the time people who do come up to you, sometimes they're not in cosplay, but there's also a lot of people who do cosplay and are creeps and weirdos that come up to you. But I think there's this stigma that you're not part of this world and you've never cosplayed.
You're an outsider. If you're not cosplaying, you're an outsider to this thing.
Yeah, so it's a bit rough.
cosplay is definitely like a subculture within conventions, because conventions have their own culture as well, because I definitely
Yeah.
know people who don't cosplay, but there's this whole
Same.
community of people who like volunteer, people who just go to play card games.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't think it's, well, I get where you're coming from. I've definitely have had my fair share of interesting interactions, I think, from people not in cosplay, but
I don't think it's
I don't think
like-
it's a unique
Yeah.
thing, because I've also had
agreed.
interesting conversations with people in cosplay.
Oh God, yeah. If anything, I feel like more people out of like in cosplay have spoken to me that are weird than people out of cosplay.
There you go.
You
There you
know?
go. Like, it's a good way to start a conversation, but I don't think it
Yeah.
should be the way that if you are not wearing cosplay, don't talk to me, because
Yeah, 100%.
I still try to make time or give the time of day to anyone who wants to come and say hi
yes.
or something like
I
that.
love
So
yapping.
you're
Yes,
a yapper. We're
I get so
yappers. That's why
excited.
we're yapping
We
here,
are yappers. That's why we have this.
Yeah, but I think that's, to me, that's a red flag in which if someone, I don't see people like crapping on beginner cosplayers, not to their face anyway,
Yeah.
but because everyone starts somewhere. But I think just the separation of, oh, you're not in cosplay, get out of here, you're not one of us.
Yeah. I have seen some people treat beginners poorly, or even just be like, oh, it's cool they cosplay that character, but I do it way better. Like I've heard people say that word for word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, red flag. Ah, this is bad. So yeah, it's interesting. Whereas if I ever have a baby cosplayer come up to me, I always find something that I appreciate that I see their hard work in, whether it's the wig or the
And you
makeup or
compliment
the
it.
costume
You
itself.
compliment the
Yeah,
crap
I'm
out of
like,
it.
wow, because I want them to keep going
Yeah.
and keep trying and keep, getting better. Because I was thankful that I had people that responded to me that way
Yeah.
when I first started. Like they were very encouraging. They made me feel really good.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm so lucky in that regard. But unfortunately, not everyone's like that. Sad.
Let's change it up with the green flag, Danny. Let's change up with the green flag. What do you got?
Okay, so when someone wears what they love, not just what's trending.
Right.
It's a bit of a tricky
I
one.
love that, because
Yeah, me too.
actually, what's your experience been before I go on my little tangent?
So it definitely shows what they are cosplaying for, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You can really tell when someone's cosplaying for fun or cosplaying because they want to get popular, when they're only cosplaying things that are trending, but not things that they're actually interested in. And it's fine to have both.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
you're really interested in something trendy and you're like, oh, I want to cosplay it. And obviously it's very big in cosplay. We're like, I got to quickly cosplay that character that I really love before it's outdated. But I think it's important not to just be like, oh, everyone's talking about this anime. I'm just going to pick a character from it and cosplay it so that I get a bunch of followers, which isn't guaranteed, by the way, obviously. And then, like, I don't know, it's you could just tell the attitude with people like that is very different to people who are genuinely interested in what they're cosplaying.
I really like seeing that, especially amongst people who are cosplaying something really niche. So it's from some old video game or this anime series which no one really knows about. And especially if it's an interesting character, they've got this design which is like, wow, I've never seen that before. What is it? And they tell you about it. They spread their love for the series, and
I love that.
It's nice hearing that kind of thing.
Agreed.
I saw very recently a follower of the podcast. Shout out to Koizo if you're listening in. Her mother actually cosplayed for the first time, and they went to the con together. And,
oh my god!
Yeah, and they cosplayed as Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. They look
so
amazing.
Cool. Oh my god, that's so cool.
But yeah, it looks like this is like one of her favorite Disney movies. Didn't really know what to do, so she cosplayed Cruella, and it was really awesome. So
I love that.
Yeah, so I think really showing the authenticity comes through when it's something that you really like or something that you really love.
Yes,
because you've probably had conversations with people who say, "Oh, you're cosplaying Ari from League. How long have you been playing for?" And not that you need to play the game, but I've had conversations with people like, "Oh, I don't play the game. I just want to wear the costume."
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, cool. Like, you do what you want, but
yeah. Because there's also nothing wrong with like you admire the design of a character. Like I've never played Genshin, but I cosplayed Arataki Ito once because I had this hyperfixation moment where I was like, God, he's so hot and he's a himbo. And I'd watch random clips on
I
TikTok
think
or YouTube.
that's typically why people wear things like that. It's like you can just like it for what it is, right?
Yeah. But if you're only choosing it because you see everyone else doing it and you know nothing about it and you might not even like it, like, why wear something you don't even like?
I think that's the biggest thing, right? Why wear something that you don't like? But I suppose you like it enough that you'd wear it, if anything.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
You'd hope so. It's not just because it's trendy.
Not just because it's trendy, but yeah. Okay. No, I like that. That's a good one. Now, onto a red flag. We kind of talked about this already a little bit, but you kind of put someone else's work down just to make yourself feel better. And I've seen this, particularly when it's two people cosplaying the same character. You know, we've kind of talked about this one before.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had that experience before, Danny?
Where, trashing others to feel superior.
Because I mostly see it when it's, they're cosplaying something that I've done before. You know, I did it better, though.
I have, I've what I mentioned earlier, like I've literally had a person I know be like, oh, you know, it's okay, but I did it so much better than them. And there's a lot of people who get jealous very easily. I've heard stories of, I've heard stories of people tearing others down because that got more attention than theirs, and people being like, I don't know why I didn't get accepted. Like, you know, my work is more, you know, like
I've been doing this for longer. I'm more experienced. I'm hotter.
And it's like, I worked so hard. I don't know why that person got it. Like, it's a bit tricky because I feel like it depends on the person. Some people just talk out of emotion because they're upset. And then the people who actually take action and spread that negativity constantly and all they're doing is trashing other people. Yeah. That's a big red flag, you know? It's
just
so
say
bad.
Nice things, guys. Say nice things.
Yeah. Yes. There's no reason to trash other people. And I think we've spoken about this before too. It makes you look so insecure.
Oh, goodness. I could not stand it.
Yeah. Nah. But yeah, I've definitely heard some people. It's hard to think recently I don't hear it anymore, probably because
you surround yourself with supportive, wholesome people. That's why.
Yes, but when I first started getting into the community is when I heard it more. But that's, you know, you're going to hear it and then it helps you figure out who the good people are that aren't like that. I don't know. Have I explained my friendship tier system on this podcast before? I can't remember. I don't think so.
Okay, I won't go into it then. That's fine. Because what I think is there's friends that you'll have who are your genuine friends you hang with outside of conventions, you call them up for coffee, whatever it might be.
Yes.
But there's convention friends who you will say hi to at a convention, but you don't get along well enough that you would hang with outside of a convention. So we'll call them convention friends.
Yeah.
There's definitely some convention friends that I've got who I'm happy to, like, all right, let's have a quick chat at the con. I'm like, all right, man, I'm out. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Quite simply because whenever I talk to them, I was like, all right, let's see if anything's changed. Nope. The first thing I say is like, oh man, I've had such a tough day. This and this and this happened and this person did this. And I don't like this. I'm like, man, the first thing you do is you start whining or complaining about something.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make me want to hang out with you.
It's not good. Yeah. It's like, and of course, there's nothing wrong with obviously venting to your friends, but I've had people that barely know me and their first introduction is how hard they have it.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm like, bro...
We're here to
this is just a person repellent.
Oh, it is. It is a person repellent. Just to...
Yeah.
If you haven't... We've talked about this before. If you're having a bad time, talk to your close mates about it. Like, have a sit down chat and say, hey, man, I'm having a bit of a bad day. Do you reckon we could just sit down and talk?
Yeah. I also feel like my alarm bells go a bit off when someone overshares very quickly with me that I don't even know or barely know. I'm like, why are you trying to... Like, it feels like they're trying to play victim here.
Yeah.
You know, it gives me the victim mentality because something's going to happen or someone said something that I'm not aware of and they don't want it to get back to me. It's like they want people to feel bad for them or something. And I'm like
it doesn't benefit anyone at the end of the day. It's like, oh, yeah, now I feel sorry for this person Oh yeah, now this person feels sorry for me. It's like, oh, now I've got
Yeah.
one person in my corner. They support me because they believe what I say, but it doesn't change anything.
No.
You just got to make it feel like, okay, cool, this person's got some stuff they're dealing with.
Uh-huh.
I wish you the best. I'm going to go over here now.
Yeah.
And it's not to say, again, don't say, what is it? Don't reach out for help if you need help.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, do it in the right way of like, hey man, hey, I know we're not that close, but I'm having a bit of a bad day. Do you reckon we could just have a chat?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Exactly.
And then like,
yes.
oh my God, Danny, thank God you're here. Bloody Philip just, dumped his chips on me. I feel so bad. I want to punch him. Like, bro.
Yeah, I'd be like, bro, what a waste of chips. No jokes. That's so sad. Now I'd be like, all right, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm joking. I'm not a violent person, but I like to joke about it. But what was I going to say? I think I was also going to, on top of that, say that some people like to make you feel bad as well for not being there, like being their therapist almost, or responding, or being that person to cry. I remember I had this guy once in my DMs, and I respond when I can, obviously.
Of course. Did they give you the old, why are you not replying to me?
Yeah, they got angry at me. But the thing is, this is the rare time I was actually actively responding to this person. So it was like a minute since I had responded, and they were like, oh, don't worry about it then. I guess you don't want to talk to me. And I was like, listen here, buddy.
Red flag, red flag, red flag.
Listen here. My life does not revolve around you. I have my own life. You are not a priority. Okay. I don't know you. And then they're like, oh, okay, sorry. And then I want to
say, unfortunately, particularly guys, it's not something they understand very well for some odd reason. If you message someone, they don't owe you anything. Just because, I don't know, you wrote me a letter. I don't owe you a reply. So if someone does decide to reply to you in their own time, awesome. That's great. You can build a connection.
Yeah.
Maybe you've already built a connection and you can have that exchange. But one of my best mates, he lives in Brisbane and just down the road, and he takes 3 or 4 business days to reply. I'm not going to get mad at him. That's just what he does.
And that's true friendship, though.
Yeah.
You can reconnect.
Well, that's just it. Like, I know that's how he operates, and I understand that. And that's like one of my best mates. But for a complete stranger, it's like, oh, why didn't you reply to me in like 2 minutes, Danny? Like, what the heck?
Bro, I don't know you.
I mean, even your romantic partner or your mother, you're not going to expect your mother to reply to you in 2. Like, they got stuff going on, man.
It was crazy.
Just anyone who like gets frustrated, just there's no expectation for someone to reply to you. They owe you nothing.
No, exactly. Yes.
Stop messaging Danny saying that they should reply to you on time. Leave her alone.
There was only one time, thankfully. I've never had to deal with it since. But
oh, goodness.
Most people are understanding, like even my friends. So that's good.
You've got stuff going on. But
yeah, but it was just funny.
Anyway, tell us another green flag, Danny. Tell us another green flag.
To green flags. Okay, kind of similar to what we've been speaking about, but encourages beginner cosplayers.
Yeah.
If you're the type to encourage beginners, green flag all
Green flag.
round. Makes me so happy to see. Like, I remember when I was a baby cosplayer and people that I thought wouldn't give me the time of day because they had a huge following, well, they still do,
Yep.
would encourage me or even followed me back because they're like, you're a really nice person.
You're a
and we've
good egg.
interacted a few times now and, would respond when I'd respond to a story being like, how did you do that? Like, what sewing needle did you use? And they'd be like, oh, this is what I used. This is what I did. You could do it. I believe in you. I was like, this is nice.
Maybe I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe I spend too much time doing competition, but with competitive cosplays, I know they're locked in, they're in the zone, the big competition coming up and all this kind of thing. But even then, same thing, when I've been doing competitions, having some people come up to me, I've always tried as best as I can not to talk about myself, right?
Yeah.
So they might, you see someone with a cool costume, will say something like, wow, your costume's really cool. I hope I can make something like that one day. And if they ask a specific question like, oh, how did you make this helmet? What did you make it out of? I keep it real short. I'll be like, it does this with this technique, right?
Yeah.
Do you know about that, or do you want me to tell you more? Because
Yeah.
then, all right, cool, I'll tell you more if you want. But most of the times, like, oh wow, that's really cool. I've always wanted to do this, and then
Yeah.
encourage the crap out of them.
Yeah, it's so good. They're our future, guys. They're
They're our
the future
future.
of the community. Let's not mold them into little demons. Let's encourage them to become positive people to hang out with.
Because what you're going to be doing as an experienced cosplayer is passing on your attitude and your value and your skills, obviously, to other cosplayers, and that's going to shape the community.
yeah.
If you pass on positivity and joy to the people around you, they're also going to pass on positivity and joy. But
Exactly.
if you're going to be all like, no, it's a secret, they're going to get angry. Thankfully,
bad vibes.
I found other cosplayers to look up to who had better vibes. So
Yes.
that's kind of what we want.
It's so nice. And unfortunately, our brain naturally focuses on the negative. It's like it's a survival thing. It's really hard to remember the good things and the good people and good experiences when one negative thing happens.
It's tough.
It's really hard. So think about that before you're an ass. Basically.
I like that. It is easy to remember the negative things because you can have like a great day and as one thing just puts it all down. It can be hard to let go of sometimes. So
yeah, and you're this first that's their first impression of you too.
Yeah.
They're going to tell other people you're not friendly.
I've
maybe
tried. Actually, Danny, what do you do? Because obviously in cosplay, I understand first impressions, it can play a big thing with anything, not just cosplay.
Yeah.
But first impressions that I've met people in cosplay, some have been good, some have been okay. Do you kind of judge that person off that one interaction, like going forward, or do you like give a second chance? It's like, oh, maybe they're having a bad day or something. Like, where do you sit on that?
So I always give a second chance, but the first opinion, like my first interaction is always there. Like I always remember it. There's people I first met and I've been super happy and friendly to, and they've just completely like ignored me.
Interesting.
Not engaged in conversation. And then I'll meet them again and something has changed that they've decided I'm worth interacting with now. And I will still be nice to them. Like, it doesn't matter who they are, but I will try and, like, it's really hard because I overthink. And I try not to overthink, but sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe they were just tired that time, or maybe I had offended them with something I said so they didn't want to talk with me, or they were overwhelmed, or like, yeah, it's really hard. And then when they do talk to me again, I'll be like, oh, okay, they like me now. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, what if it's only because there's people around that they're pretending to like me?
Right. They're putting on a bit of a show or a bit of a facade.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have to look good.
I get worried.
Yeah.
So I just keep
tough.
getting to know them. Yeah. I feel like I need to really if I ever get to a point where I'm super close with someone, I will literally just tell them, be like, when I first met you, I thought you hated me, man. Like, I'll just tell them that.
I mean, they might say something like, look, man, I did hate you. You gave off this vibe and I just wasn't gelling with it, but over time,
but look at us now.
Look at us now. We're repaired. So, if I gave the cold shoulder, I didn't mean to offend you, but hopefully you can get to that stage in a friendship with someone that you can be that open and honest about stuff like that. So,
and we're not perfect either. Like I think back to my high school days, and we have a lot of young high schoolers in the community now.
Yeah.
But I think back in high school, I was very easily influenced. So if I had a friend that told me something negative about someone, I would instantly pick their side, and I would instantly not be very like friendly to that person anymore. And I was just very like, I can't believe they did that. What a poo. And then it wasn't until as I got older or I got to realize that they actually didn't do anything wrong or it's misconstrued that I would literally tell them, be like, look, I'm so sorry I actually believe these things people said about you.
Yeah.
I realize now that was a big mistake and I should have actually seen both sides before I passed judgment.
Yeah.
It's taken time though. Not everyone obviously even wants to do that, but yeah, I'm not perfect is what I'm trying to say. Like back in my high school days, I learned a lot and figured out what was and wasn't okay. Yeah.
And I was just looking at the list. That's actually another green flag you've got on your list, the next one, which is You introduced it, actually. I just spotted it.
Oh, own up to mistakes and grow from them. Yeah.
Because that's a huge one, I think, because I think it's very easy in this community, or just any community really, to, especially since it's a hobby that's based a lot on looks, we can all get a little bit self-conscious. We always start comparing ourselves. We get body dysmorphia. We get anxious. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's common among everybody. But in those times, you know, it can be pretty easy to lash out or say something negative about someone. And it can be very, because obviously we hurt people, and I've been guilty of that before as well. But
Same.
the biggest thing to do is exactly like what you said, to kind of apologize for the mistakes that you've made and become a better person after that.
Yeah, exactly.
There was actually a story I can tell. There was a person in the community who, I think one of my friends said something quite mean, and this guy I unfortunately not friends with anymore, but it definitely was something mean and uncalled for. And I'm like, bro, you don't say those kinds of things to people. That's really, really mean. But as a result, they ended up blocking him, obviously, and anyone within 2 or 3 degrees of him. And I was part of that block list, obviously. So yeah, after something bad was said, that was uncalled for, they just blocked everybody who was associated with that person, basically.
So the person that had things poorly said about them is the one that blocked people?
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
because
rightfully so. I was like, I'm not dealing with this crap. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like, all those people hate me and they're just bullies. Yeah, I get it.
And so as a result, again, I didn't directly do anything, but I suppose by association, again, this was like on a public forum on like Facebook or something. So it wasn't shy.
Yeah.
So, you know, the next convention, unfortunately couple of years at conventions, they kind of just avoided us completely. But it got to a stage which was just really uncomfortable, because their partner is a very kind person. They always waved and said hello, but I kind of understood, hey, there's, you know, something that was said which was not very kind. Yeah. And they got to a stage too, well, like, look, I feel uncomfortable. I'm sure they feel uncomfortable. I just want to bury the hatchet so it doesn't have to be this way. So quite literally one day I just decided, hey, I walked up to him. I said, hey, look, I know some things were probably said that I was probably associated with that person at that point in time. And if I've caused you any harm, or if I made you feel bad about something, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I really, really apologize for that, because you know, I feel uncomfortable going around a con, and you know, we're avoiding each other, and I know you probably feel uncomfortable, and I don't really want that. So
I love that.
It's like if you can forgive me, I'd love to just, you know, kind of start over. But if you don't, then I understand as well. But you know, I just don't want you to feel like you can't, you know, come into this convention or come to this community and have to feel uncomfortable, because I don't think anyone deserves that. So it was good. At the end of it, it's like, you know, I really appreciate and respect you for saying that, and so thank you. But yeah, after that, we just kind of hung out a bit. We're not besties or anything. We'll say hi, obviously, at the con. But it definitely helped kind of...
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's just great closure for both parties too.
I think so as well.
Oh my gosh.
That was a good experience in itself. So you don't always have to be the biggest person or the best person, always be right. But I think being able to admit when you're wrong it almost feels empowering in a way.
It does. Yeah, it really does. And whether it's a friendship or a relationship or a business, anything, it's so good. Oh my gosh. That makes me so happy. That's so wholesome. No, I love that. I always agree with, you know, owning up to mistakes and even trying to discuss what's gone wrong. Like, let's figure out where we continue from here. Like, I really don't like the fakeness. I'd rather people just be like, look, I don't like you. Let's just not be friends. I'm like, okay, bye.
We don't have to hang out. We don't have to pretend to like each other. Let's just you know, not try to force any conversation. See ya.
Yeah. It's more uncomfortable and anxiety driven otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? It's like, oh, I think they hate me. But anyway.
Now onto red flags. Yeah. Onto red flags.
No.
So this is something that definitely pops up in cosplay on a regular basis, is consent.
Yes.
So a big red flag is if someone is flirtatious or touches someone without content, even if it's in a joking manner.
Yeah.
I really hate people. It's like, oh, just a prank, bro, just a prank. It's not just a prank.
No.
There's a difference between
no.
playing a joke on a friend and being a complete dick to someone at their expense.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I was going to say, I remember in high school once, I was little bossy boots, and I remember we were playing sport, and I had two friends that weren't playing sport, and I was like, what are you guys doing? You need to get up and play sport. And one of the girls, she poured water on my head in response to that.
That's bullying.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. This is not nice. I was like, this is kind of different to the whole touching without consent thing, but it just reminded me of it. I was like, oh shit, what the hell, man? What did I do wrong?
Oh, man. I mean,
That was so rough.
that's just bullying at that point in time. Oh, and Danny,
Yeah.
is that Mozart again?
Yeah, he wanted to see outside.
Oh,
He's like,
Mozart,
"Bully?
we have to keep that curtain closed, buddy.
You gotta make sure your mum looks okay. No.
So
Don't
if you're
make me
listening
look
in,
like
Danny's
shiny.
perfect camera setup got ruined for a second by Mozart the dog by opening up the background curtain and
curtains.
letting the sunlight in. So
Yeah. Yeah.
oh dear, but
Yeah.
look, I guess I'm very fortunate. It's never really been too much of an issue for me because I have been a guy. But I know girls, for the most part, at conventions, it's a very different story in terms of
Yeah.
having guys around who do weird things or do inappropriate things. That's it's not a great experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should have just kicked it or whatever, because I've definitely seen a couple of guys just take photos up skirts and stuff like that before.
Oh, that's so weird. What
Like,
the hell?
all I could do was like, all right, I just kind of yelled like, "Hey, bro, like, take a look at your phone. That's not a great picture to take." He just kind of ran off.
Oh,
So I don't even know if there's a
what?
better way for me to handle it. Like, do I? Because obviously I'm just trying to think of that exact situation there and then to stop it.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's really hard because even if you told security, they're probably already gone by
Yeah,
then.
that's
Unless
what I
you
mean.
can still tell them, but
So part of me is like, I could
Yeah.
just run over and smash this camera or whatever. But that would have been.
yeah.
It's like, oh well, that evidence now it's gone. So
Disgusting perv. Yeah.
So that was obviously a huge
It's
red
rough.
flag, and I unfortunately
Yeah.
have seen people like that. I haven't met them because I've never bothered to try and understand what they're doing or why they're doing it, because there's nothing to understand. He's just being a creep.
Yeah.
But even and when it comes to like flirts or touching without consent, I'm not going to make any excuses for men. Just some people are not very good at this kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I think here's a quick little side tangent for anyone who is a guy and you're a little bit awkward and you're not really sure how to flirt or show that you're interested in someone. If you want to do it and you want to be flirtatious, be
Yeah.
direct about it. Instead of
Yeah.
trying to kind of indicate or suggest, or like, hey, you're kind of pretty. Maybe I could like touch your shoulder and show that I'm curious. No, if you want to do it in a respectful manner, just be upfront. So I
Yeah.
could be something like, hey, Danny, it was great meeting you today. I think you're a lovely person and I'd love to get to know you better. I'd love to take you out
Yeah.
for coffee sometime.
Yeah. Unless you're a
something-
dumbass like me who was like, yeah, I love hanging out. I love coffee.
Yeah.
Let's go get coffee, even though I'm not interested.
Or you could even be even more direct. Like, hey, I'd love to take you out for a coffee date sometime.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. That's, yeah. it
Even more
depends on the
direct.
person. Yeah,
But
yeah.
doing the whole, if you're not well versed or well practiced in flirting or showing interest in somebody in a suggestive way that's effective, just be
Yeah.
direct about it. That way, there's no confusion, there's no boundaries crossed. It's a lot better for everybody. So
Yeah, I agree. And like I've had people who only just met me and would be like, I'd be like, wow, I love your costume. But I had one guy like put his hand around my throat once
what?
because it was like,
How does
yeah,
it even work? You're like,
no, because he literally just grabbed my throat, like just grabbed it because it was
Why?
like the character he did that to enemies
To your
and stuff.
character?
Like that was not to my character, just to enemies in general. And I
Right.
guess he assumed because it's a kink that a lot of people fantasize over this character, that I would want that for some reason.
What did you do?
I kind of was just like, oh, okay. And then like, it wasn't very long, but I was just kind of laughed it off.
I'm sorry that happened to you. That's
yeah.
weird.
I kind of like try to joke it off all the time. Like, why the heck did you do that for? Ha ha ha. I'll be like, that was weird, lol. Because like, obviously in my head, I always try not to make the
situation
awkward
worse
and weird.
Yeah.
Or worse. But nowadays it'd be a lot different. I'd be like, don't touch me.
I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah.
Back then it was different. I also had a vendor once kiss me on the cheek, which was weird. Yeah.
Dudes are weird. Bloody hell.
I was saying goodbye because I was helping booth, and usually side by side booths like talk to each other, and I was like, oh yeah, nice to meet you. He went to give me a hug and then like kissed my cheek, and I was like,
you're like, I ain't helping this shit again. This is.
And he was an old man too. Yeah.
Come on, guys. Stop doing that.
Really weird. Yeah. I mean, in saying that, there's obviously some, like, I've also had that problem with girls as well. Not necessarily at a con, but even at a club. Like, I had a girl once try and, like, like, force herself on me. And I was like, whoa.
Like, whoa
there, buddy.
Whoa, I just met you. I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah. Like, it was in the bathroom, too, so it was really
weird.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like, it's not, and, like, I'm bi for people who don't know. So, I'm all for like, yay, girls, I love women, but I'm
too
still
fast. Too fast.
It's too fast. Like, give me some space. Like, yeah. So it goes both ways for sure. There's definitely some boundaries people cross without even thinking about it. And I get it at cons, we're excited and we're like, oh my God, yeah, people would love this shit, and they don't think about it. And I've even warned people before. Like, I've had a friend who was like, I'm gonna put squeaky toys in my like bra because it's funny to like squeeze and it makes like a honk sound. And yeah, it is funny, but I'm pretty sure Byron brought it up. He was like, that's inviting people to squeeze your boobas, which not technically it's not, but like people will think you're inviting them is what I mean.
There's definitely some implication in there. Yeah.
Yeah. It can be dangerous. Like, nothing is ever an invitation unless someone blatantly says, squeeze my boobas. But like, if you're, doing that, it can be dangerous. So it's just, we got to think things through a bit more before we, act on them.
I mean, I think the big key here is consent, right? If you do something like that, then we don't do anything unless they expressly say, it's like, hey, you should squish my area because it's got squeak toys in them, haha. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing is just consent, really. Is like, oh, well, if they say yes, please, it's an invitation. But unless they say yes, please, it's an invitation, it's a no.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's hella red flag.
Anyway.
Big red flag.
On to the green flag, which I think is a good green flag to follow this one up with.
Oh, yes. Speaking of, respecting personal space and boundaries at cons. Holy heck. Those definitely go hand in hand. That
big green flag. I like how they just follow up after each other. That's great.
Yeah, that was so good.
So I think it's a big thing about... Okay. Space is obviously a respecting thing, and everyone's got boundaries. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, look, throat grabbing, bro, you should ask about that kind of stuff first.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
any form of physical contact.
It's just anything. Like you said, any form of physical contact. If it's a hug, if it's a hand around the waist, if it's a handshake, for the most part, is somewhat okay. But that's when you're meeting someone. It's like, well, by the throat. It's like, hey, my character does this thing where it's like this, and I've been taking like a collab of photos, a collage of photos where I'm doing that to other characters. Would you mind if I took that kind of photo with you? And you're like, okay, fair enough. That makes more sense. Rather than like, all right, come here. I'm going to grab your throat.
Come here.
Okay, Scorpion.
I love that. The perspective. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, dear.
But
the only other time it's been a little bit... I think for the most part, it is okay, with strangers. I'm never talking to them. It only... when I say it's personal experience, again, I think I'm fortunate that I haven't really had those kinds of things happen.
Yeah.
But in terms of personal space, it really is, unless it says, yes, please, here's an invitation. It's a please just stay, respectful distance away and keep your hands to yourself.
I feel like I can see you definitely have experience in regards to boundaries being a big one. Like, I feel like because you're so friendly and nice, people kind of, I can imagine, would impose themselves on you and expect you just want to deal with them. Not deal with them, but like, I don't know. I feel like kind of like the guy that was DMing me and expecting me to have a conversation with him. I feel like I could see you dealing with that too.
Well, believe it or not, I don't think as many people do onto me as they do onto you, because you for certain have this warm, bubbly persona who makes it very easy to want to talk to you.
Thank you.
Because if you've got this person who's happy and smiling, they having a good time with their friends, obviously that's someone you're going to want to try and have a chat to. So but I think for myself, sometimes it's like that, but I definitely haven't been as like, oh, can I have a hug, Danny? Oh, can we get a picture and put my arm around your waist before I go? Like that kind of stuff is definitely less so often for me. Yeah. It's really interesting because I think there's a very healthy balance of trying to initiate some kind of contact to be friendly, but also being respectful of personal space, right? Because you do need obviously to break that touch barrier at some stage to grow a connection, to become friends and become closer as people. Yeah. But I think it really goes one way or the other. Because don't get me wrong, I haven't been perfect. Even in my time, I've probably tried to talk to someone and
read the room wrong.
Couldn't read the room, and it kind of they left feeling a bit awkward. I felt awkward. I was like, okay, that was a bit awkward. What can I learn? What did I screw up here?
Shit. Yeah.
Right. But I think the balance here is, I don't want to offend anyone. So you don't talk to anyone and your day sucks.
Yeah.
Right. Or you talk to someone, you have a polite interaction, but there's no vibe. So you kind of just hang around the group and you don't really do anything apart from hang around.
Yeah, you're existing.
You exist. I like to use the term orbiter. Like you orbit like a planet around the sun. Yeah. So you orbit. Yeah. So it goes from, to me, don't talk to anyone, to you kind of orbit, to, you try to make small friend groups and you try to talk to people, which I think is a good thing that everyone tries to do. But typically that kind of falls back into orbiting. Or it's like, all right, I need to take a step further. Let's be a bit more friendly. And you kind of overshoot the runway and you go towards like, oh man, you kind of, because it's like, oh, can I have a hug?
Yeah.
I understand, guys. We want connection and physical touch and all that kind of thing. But if you have to ask for a hug, you probably shouldn't be getting a hug. Right?
It's so weird. It's like, I also have I am definitely a hugger. And sometimes if someone comes up to me and I don't even see who they are, my instinct is to hug them because I expect it to be a friend that I'm close with. And there have been times where I've hugged someone or invited to be hugged by someone that I wouldn't normally want to hug or wouldn't normally invite. And then I'm like, oh no, I have set that's okay.
That's the standard of our interactions.
And I have, I have to. But thankfully, even though I've done that, a lot of the time they don't expect it because I guess it was random and they just wait for me to initiate.
Yeah.
But there are definitely some people out there who just do it and it's like, why are you touching me? I always try to ask because I'm a hugger. I might have worked with someone. I'll go to hug to say bye and I'm like, wait, is it okay if I hug? If you don't want to hug, it's fine. I won't be offended because it's just instinct for me. So there are definitely been times where I'm like, holy shit, I'm just imposing on like my person on this person.
I mean, it is definitely a different dynamic for a girl to a guy, or for a guy to a girl. It's different because obviously there's a thing here where girls can obviously be in danger or be creeped upon or whatever it might be. So typically, I think if you're the person initiating the hug, then it's like, oh well, cool. I suppose that we're cool enough and we can hug. I think it does fall down to if you're a guy, if you have to ask for the hug, don't ask for the hug. Like you don't get any benefit from it. You're not going to make the interaction better. You're not going to get any closer. They're not going to want to say, wow, that was a great hug. I really want to talk to this person again. So it's something you do between friends or someone I haven't caught up with in a long time. I could say with all of my close friends or just, I'll say good convention friends, yeah, I agree with hug. But there's some convention friends I'm like, yo, what's up? We don't hug.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly.
we're both okay with that. But
yeah,
where did that start? Is that kind of like this free hugs thing back in the day? Is that kind of where it became more of a culture, you think?
Yeah. And then Con started banning the signs, but
The free hug songs, yeah.
that was in much more wholesome times, because I remember like I'd see someone hold like when I was young, you know, growing up in cosplay, I'd see my favorite character holding a free hug sign and I'd go up and be like, oh my God, can I
Roy
get
Mustang,
a hug?
yes.
Yeah. And they'd be like, yeah, that's what the sign's for. I'm like, oh my God, yay. But obviously, like if I think about it now, maybe it's more dangerous because it's become more popular. Like,
I mean, it was definitely the way I think of those people trying to start conversations and make connections. So I think the intention is good, but I think with the way that it's been, I guess, the way it's kind of evolved over time, it's probably made it a little bit. It's not taboo to hug someone, but
no,
I think in terms,
they don't want to encourage like any drama coming from
out of it, yeah, or any,
because there could be children and
and misinterpretation and bad intentions as well, absolutely.
Yeah,
but I think for the most part, if it was a good idea, but the better thing to do is like, okay, let's learn to read the room. Let's learn to see if someone feels uncomfortable. Let's learn to see if I feel like our friendship has developed. Yeah, you know what, it has. Okay.
Exactly.
It was good seeing you. We should hang out again sometime. Yeah, we should. Okay, yeah. Okay, now we can hug.
Everyone's different too, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I know I'm very much, I was going to say possessive, but that sounds really bad. Like
I'm possessive. This hug is mine.
I like that.
Wow,
I mean, like in terms of relationships, me and Byron are very much like that was, you know, we're very much for each other. And if a guy hugged me and they had their hands around my waist, even I would be uncomfortable. Like, oh, that's too intimate. Like, no one should be touching my waist. Is like, that's off limits. That's not a hug. That's more than a hug to me. And Byron's the same. Like, if someone like squeezed his arms while hugging him, I would be like,
what?
I'll find you.
Interesting. That's actually a very interesting point and a good point to bring up, I think. You know those charts that people swing out. It comes over once in a while as like, here's a chart of the human body. These are parts in which strangers I feel comfortable touching. This is the part friends I feel okay touching. This is the part with my lover or my partner. They're the ones touch it. It's
different for everyone.
It is different, but at the same time, I feel like it's not. It's one of those things. It's like, all right, cool. If you're a stranger, I would give you a handshake at best, maybe a pat on the back. If for whatever reason there was a hug as a greeting, I'd be like, okay, like pat on the back, right? A very light hug. I'm not going to go for this big like, grizzly bear hug, like
big squeeze,
what the heck?
And it's like, yeah.
So for the most part, I feel like the facts that people need to put those charts up is silly.
It's kind of
because
sad.
people they put them up because they feel like they need to, because they've obviously been touched in a place on their body which they don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
But
even guy friends that I've known for ages, I will never want them to like, the only physical contact is if we're hugging to say hello and maybe I need to help you up because you fell. Like,
like, look, Danny, for the most part, when I give you a hug, it's going to be like, right, I will, touch you on the shoulders.
No, you're always good.
The waist is pushing it. I don't think I'd feel comfortable myself doing that, because I'm like, nope, that's a bit too far.
You are always so respectful, and I appreciate that. And pretty much all my male and female friends are very, really respectful. Because they use common sense,
I think that's it. Because I think maybe for some people, they were never taught about common sense and they kind of need to be told explicitly what that's all about. But for the most part, look, if they're a stranger, like you've never met them before or you're not that close, just don't do anything beyond a handshake, or like if it's a hug, cool, like up on the shoulders. Shoulders is like, that's okay. But anything else,
biased towards women sometimes, though.
Of course, because at that point in time, women, for the most part, are a lot less threatening, or they're a lot less
Yeah.
danger as a whole in
It's the
comparison
vibe as
to men.
well. Like
No,
it really
of course.
depends on the vibe, right? Yeah. Like if I
Absolutely.
had a woman who was like hitting on me at a con and being like, wow, yeah, you're so hot. Like, can we please have a hug? Like, let's hug to say, but I'd feel like, okay.
You'd be
maybe
like,
something
okay,
weird's
here, like,
gonna-
have a light pat. Okay.
have a nice hug.
Have a good day.
But if there's, you know,
Yeah.
a young baby cosplayer and she's like, I really love your stuff, and they're shy and they're like, anyway, yeah, it was so nice to meet you. And I'll be like, oh, awesome. Do you want to hug to say bye? I'll ask. They'll be like, yes, please. And it's like really cute
Oh,
and
that's
wholesome.
cute,
And
yeah.
it's like, hee. But if it was a guy that did it, I wouldn't, because I don't want to give them the wrong impression.
Of course.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
There's just a
hard
whole other
'cause,
layer
yeah.
to how you
Yeah.
interact with people as a lady. It's unfortunately
say-
a little bit more difficult.
There's layers like an
Oh,
onion.
there's layers to it. But
Yeah.
respecting personal space and boundaries, I think it's a big one.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm just going to put one last red flag. We've got time for one last red flag.
Oh, yes.
And that's quite literally just backhanded compliments, where people think that they're giving
Mm.
you advice, but no, they're not giving advice.
Yeah.
It's like, it's similar to saying, oh, I'm better than you kind of costume feeling. Like
yeah.
more like, your costume's really good, but yeah, I would do your wig I would do the wig like this because this would be better. It's like, bro, I never
grinds
asked
my
for any
gears. Yeah.
advice or any something like that.
Yeah.
So a big red flag for me, I don't know if it is for you, is if I'm wearing something and then someone kind of tries to tell me how they would do it,
Yeah.
or they start giving me advice about something I never asked for. I'm like, bro, I never asked. Why are you trying to, tell me about this kind of thing?
That's so irritating.
And it happens not just guys. Like I've had girls tell me the same thing as well. It's like, oh, you should do it like this, or I do it like this. I'm like, whoa, okay, cool. Like thanks
like-
for the advice I didn't ask for.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mrs. They them opinion. I was gonna say Mr. Opinionated, but then I was like, no, I'm gendering it then, and then I was like, no, I have to say Mrs. And then I was like, wait, some people don't have a gender. So
What would you say?
Trying to tell people.
What's the gender neutral version of Mr. or Mrs.?
yeah, that's why I say they them's, but that
Yeah, like would you say you'd say Mr. Jeremy or Ms. Daniela? But what would we say for if I was a they? What would you call me? Would you be like a?
I can't really say because okay, if anyone that goes by they them, let us know.
How
What would you like to
how would you
call
be
it?
addressed if it was like a
Yeah.
title, right? A title.
Yeah.
Because something like doctor or
Yeah. The
or,
goat.
I don't know. What's like Lance Corporal Commander? Like those are gender neutral terms, right?
Yeah.
But
Professor.
Professor.
That's actually so cool. But yeah, I'm interested now.
No, I'm interested.
I'll have to ask
I'll-
some of my friends.
I'll have to look it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. That was random. But yeah.
Anyway, that was green flags, red flags. God, we can really do a deep dive on, especially at conventions, like personal
Yes.
boundaries and consent. We can do a whole episode on consent, I think, or just what would work, what is appropriate. Because especially I think in the community, people are obviously there to make friends. They have good intentions. They want to meet people. They want to hang out. They want to have fun. But I think because those intentions can be misconstrued because people don't know how to read the room. They don't know how to socialize well. I think it might be a good idea to kind of break down very clearly and plainly, these kinds of things are good.
Yes.
These kinds of
Yep.
things are not good.
Yeah. It also gets hard when there are some gray areas too,
Yeah,
and people
there
who
are.
are learning, they get confused, and it's like, wait, but I thought that was always bad or always good. So it definitely just takes practice and having good people to pull you up on things that aren't
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Let's have a chat about that sometime. I think that might be an interesting one.
That'd be so good. I agree. That
Anyway,
was fun.
let's do some more of these. Like, let's pull up a list of things that we think are good and bad, or we can go through it. That's good.
That was so nice.
Nice. Anyway,
Thanks, Jeremy.
yeah, thanks, Danny. So
Always a delight.
you're a delight. You're a delight to yap to. Now, if you guys liked our yapping, you liked our vibe, again, please check us out on Instagram and check us on TikTok and YouTube. We're a lot more active nowadays, now that we're up and running in season 3.
Yeah.
But if you like our vibe and you want to say thanks for having a good vibe, feel free to check out our Patreon where you can support us for the price for coffee each month.
Yes.
That's an Australian
Yes.
coffee, by the way, which is still
Yeah.
pretty cheap. So yeah, feel free to drop by, say hi,
So
and give us any suggestions if you've got like topics that you want to broach, or if you've got like some
So open
comments.
to them.
We're very open. We're not closed off from the world. We want to get more involved with the community and see what you guys want to hear about. We'll give our 2 cents on it.
Exactly.
But yeah, nice. Yay! Let's wrap it up. We'll
Yay,
say
us.
bye, and we'll see you guys next week. Hey,
See you next week, guys.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.